The Jersey Swap podcast is brought to you by Apollo Homes, Cincinnati, and Dayton's premier HVAC, plumbing, and electrical home service company. If your AC is under more pressure than a goalkeeper in a penalty shootout, Apollo Home will make the save. Fast, friendly, reliable, same-day service. Keep your home running like a champion. Give them a call, send them a text, or visit them at apollohome.com. Hey guys, welcome back to the Jersey Swap podcast. You know, every week we look to see who faces FCC and we try to figure them out in advance with a little help, of course. Whoever we call in, give us sort of the 411. It's definitely going to be a bit harder this time around. Cincinnati's been able to avoid losing streaks lately, but their current track record just does not hold a candle to our next opponents, Nashville SC. We've heard the dismissals that there's no rivalry between Nashville and Cincinnati, but this season could definitely reignite it. Nashville have a distant 10-point lead atop the East, and they're 9 clear from the West. Cincinnati might be too far in the rearview mirror to threaten the lead themselves, but a win at Geodis Park would be Nashville's first home loss of 2026. So let's see if we can decode their ring here. We need to get to the bottom of this Nashville hot trend before it gets out of hand. With me tonight is Tyler from Big TV. Let's bring him in here. Tyler, how you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm great, thank you. I'm looking forward to this weekend. Feeling good. Nothing too much to be worried about so far this season. So yeah, I'm feeling good, thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad you can join us. I don't want to feel threatened by you guys, but you definitely got everything going really well for you so far this season. Kind of jealous after we had that a few years ago. But I wanted to call you in here. And why don't you tell us a little bit about your podcast and really how you got started with Nashville?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the focus for me is really a lot of TikTok, a lot of Instagram, and a lot of YouTube. So I'm kind of one of those kind of more modern creators, influencer types. Not quite yet, but we've got a very trending post today on Messi and MLS and coming out late. And after the end of that, Hoyo's got fired, it looks like. So maybe we are influencers now.
Did he actually get fired?
I believe so. I had the rest of the guys from the Eastern Conference Roundup show that we do on a Monday night. They sent me a message and said, you know, he's suspended for the game. And then there was a question of, well, it doesn't really matter because he's not going to be there anyway. So yeah, that was kicking off all over our Instagram. 25,000 views today on that. But yeah, it's been good. But yeah, the focus is really TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. And like I say, we have the show every Monday night, which is the Eastern Conference Roundup show. It's an MLS show that we do with For the Crew podcast, Garrett from Five Stripes Carolina and Jared Fire FC. So that's your Chicago, Columbus, and Atlanta. And we focus on, you know, what's going on the Eastern Conference every Monday night. But yeah, that's the focus over on our Big TV NSC YouTube channel.
Yeah, if we didn't have our own live show on Monday, I'd say, you know, pick one of us up and we'll join the group.
It's always Monday.
Make it feel really Midwest for you there.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to bring you out here because we've got probably one of the biggest matchups of the week. I would argue. I mean, I think there's a lot of people that still would say, well, Nashville and Cincinnati are not close enough to be a rivalry. Would you give an argument that it is a rivalry?
I would got to say, I think for Nashville fans, the rivalry, just based on the now, is it 22 games we've played in a very short period of time, makes Inter Miami the rival. It's just such a thing. People at the club, people behind the scenes, people in the front office talk about Inter Miami more than any other club. And so I think there's an element of rivalry for sure. I think there's a number of us that are sort of, we definitely tend down towards the East. A little bit, you know, the Southeast kind of thing with Atlanta, Charlotte, Miami, maybe more so. But I still think any game like this where it's not incredibly distant, I still think there's some fire there. I think that there's something to be had there. And I think the more important thing is our rivalries are very much fueled by teams performing well. Inter Miami coming up against a strong Nashville side is what fires the rivalry and the atmosphere.
Right.
And, you know, I think that can carry through into this for sure.
I really look at back to the USL years when we both sort of had that foot in the door for MLS. And when you guys got in, I think we had some bitter grapes here. But I think there were still people that were so bitter that they were denying there was a rivalry.
Yeah.
And it didn't help that all the games that we had in 2018 were all draws.
Yeah.
You could even say like the postseason, that was a draw that just went to penalty kicks. So.
Yeah. No, I get it. I totally get that as well.
Yeah. So I think what we want to do is we definitely want a rewind on Nashville. I mean, things have gone well for you. We sort of want to figure out, what's making the chicken cook this season for you guys. I mean, but last year a very good performance as well. Sixth in the East. Once again, you brought up the rivalry with Miami, who eliminated you guys in 3 matches. It could have gone the other way. I think that there was pressure that Nashville had something that could have done it. But you also lost 7 out of your last 10 going into the postseason. And so maybe the big question is, what exactly worked out of the gate in 2025, and how banged up were you at the end?
I think coaching. BJ came in at the end of 2024. The fact that the team, the way that he was coaching was starting to be very much inspirational and starting to have an effect. I mean, what he's demanding of the players is so different to kind of Gary Smith football anyway. So the amount of training that's required, the amount of work on the playing field just to get the patterns of play going, I think is so important and big. I think in terms of the start of the season, that's what, made us perform a lot better, was that we're watching some football that's evolving and being played better. And then as you get towards the end of the season, Open Cup became the priority, quite frankly. And that meant that it definitely tailed off towards the end of the season. There wasn't quite so much of an emphasis on MLS play. The emphasis was really on winning a trophy, which of course we did manage to go and do. And for me, I talk about a lot Nashville's. I've been seeing this as a project, at least a 3 to 5 year project. And I think that was year one, win a trophy of some kind, first full year for BJ. And then I feel like year two was just win another one, which is kind of what we're on course to do in potentially, at least, whether it's the Shield or whether it is actually eventually the Cup. I don't think winning the league this year was maybe on the cards, but I think what's happened with this squad and the players they've managed to bring in has led us to a point where actually that is looking like it could happen. And I think ultimately that's the difference, is the quality of the playing squad from the start of 2025 moving through now into 26. Just the quality is just upped. The way that we're playing is very European. It's very top level football anywhere in the world in a way. With a squad that obviously isn't in the top echelons of other leagues, perhaps in the very, very top ones when we talk about those. But in terms of MLS, is right up there. I mean, this team's done something that no MLS team has ever done in getting the most points in 21 games ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's definitely something that I think wasn't on our cards, but in 2023, it eventually went that way. But you pointed out a very interesting dynamic there. Callahan coming in his first year, getting a trophy right away, something that Gary Smith couldn't do for his all of his time with Nashville. What would you say, looking from the surface, what is working with Callahan that wasn't under Gary Smith? I mean, it can't be just the talent alone.
No, I mean, it's a completely different style of play. I mean, very, very different. I mean, there's very much a style of play for a start. I mean, Gary Smith's play was, very defensive, counter-attacking, and it relied on a couple of individuals, which I think is something that we've seen throughout MLS history in terms of having those DPs, having those certain players that can carry the team, put the team on their back. The BJ Callahan's focus has definitely been on a cohesive team, a team that works together, a team that works through the patterns of play. And I will say the other thing is our front office with Mike Jacobs has just been incredible in terms of their hiring and firing and clearing players out, bringing the right players in, bringing the right profiles in. And the profiles that we brought in have been incredibly undervalued. I mean, I sat at the members' day at the start of the season, and he was talking about the Moneyball philosophy of finding undervalued talent and putting it out there and getting it a chance to shine on a higher stage from, whether they're coming from the Norwegian league, the second tier of the Norwegian league, wherever it might happen to be. This is a showcase for them, really. And I think they've been incredibly good at finding undervalued talent, players that shouldn't have been signed for us, as I'm sure we'll get to in a minute. And that's it. The combination of patterns of play and incredible recruitment fundamentally have changed this team, and we don't rely on Hani Mukhtar to do everything anymore.
Yeah.
And that's part of it.
I mean, the big joke was that you guys couldn't find a number 9. I mean, for the longest time, it was Daniel Rios, it was Cameron Lancaster. It was like these are, you are trying to sort of, look for affordable options, but they just were not clicking. I mean, Ake Lobo, right? But you're bringing in Sam Surge, who has a little bit of prestige behind the name, but wasn't, the biggest name that you could have
Yeah.
gotten out there, but he's done the job. He is the number 9 probably for the near future for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. But I think it's what's happened is we've got players that are incredibly versatile, and Sam's very happy playing sort of from the left wing. He's a number 9 for sure, but that's part of how we play now. Is that Sam is very happy drifting out towards the left, and Hani kind of it will slot in on the right of that, and then move into the kind of central attacking area. And depending on what we're doing, how we want to play, who the opposition is, and so on. And that's something that we've got. We've got players that are genuinely fairly versatile, technically capable. I think Sam is probably the least. We've started to develop an incredibly technical squad. And actually, I've noticed in the last few games that Sam started to really bring that to his game more as well. And even when there's been moments where Hani hasn't been on the pitch, he's been almost playing that role, spraying the ball around. And it's just the level of everything that's happening at the club, on the training field. Everybody's expected to play with the ball right from the back. And that is, very much a Brian Schwacke thing and another development of our team. I know we've got loads of things that we're going to talk about later in this show, and I don't want to just ruin it all now. But but I know that that's on the cards later. But yes, in terms of just Sam is obviously a great goal scorer, but he offers even more to this team now, coming out from the left, the movement we have, and his natural instinct for goal scoring is, of course, incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I've got the circle around Schwacke from heavy red pen right now. To the point that I think he's really should start getting nods for the U.S. national team.
Yep.
But that's a discussion for later in the show.
Yep.
I do want to bring out, though, some of the additions that have been brought in, whether it's mostly from the pen, of transfer or just within the league. I mean, you're talking about Christian Espinoza being the one that I've thrown a dart at. From the story I've heard is you were incredibly fortunate to get him in the first place, but why is he the big puzzle piece? What was the need that he fills?
I mean, he gives us that front three to start with. That's what we thought we needed at the start of the season, and now it's even more than that. He's obviously incredibly natural with his right foot, delivering that ball, whether that's from a free kick, as he's been starting to do much more recently for Nashville, a dead ball situation, or when he's progressing forward. He links up so well with Andy Nahar. Both of them are very capable on the ball. Neither are particularly quick, actually. They're not like devastatingly quick, either of them, but they are both incredibly skillful on the ball, and they're so good at combining down that right-hand side. I think, honestly, he's one of those players, like some of the best wingers are like this. You know what he's going to do, you just can't stop it. And he really offers that. He offers goal scoring from that right-hand side. I think if you look at the wingers we've had before, say like a Schaffelberg or a Perez or some of those players, they're not quality finishers. They're players that are young and maybe exciting, but they're unpredictable. Espinoza is so good on the ball, so much quality that he delivers the ball with, and then he can finish. And ultimately, that's what you need from a right winger, someone who's going to add to the goal tally and isn't just there to serve the number 9, because he needs to be a threat too.
Yeah, I'm looking at his heat map from this year. He's so red hot from that right side. Able to give you, I think he's got 8 assists in MLS play this year, which, that's really what you've been looking for, I think, within the Nashville style of play. You've got Mukhtar, who can distribute, but you need that second person. And it seems like that's what he's giving you this year.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a playmaker. He's a playmaker and a winger. He can play both roles. He cuts inside very happily and finds that link up, but he will also happily get to the byline and make a good cross, or get to sort of edge of the channel, kind of edge of the box area, and put in a good delivery. He's lethal with his right foot. He does something, whether that's going to be putting it in the bottom right hand corner for the goalkeeper, bottom left hand corner for him, or if it's just delivering a great ball that's dangerous and something can happen off the back of that. He's just quality on the right ultimately.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of other names here that I brought up for additions just because it seemed to be a lot of movement here. Looking at Shaq Mohammed from Orlando, Warren Madrigal from Saprissa, a few summer additions, Elias Saad from Augsburg. You've seen the rundown I've given. There's a lot of names here. Are there any that stand out as like, this is the guy we've been waiting for in his position?
Yeah, a lot of them. Shaq Mohammed, not so much. He's come in and done. He's very much a fan favorite, very humble. The first goal he scored, he almost cried. He's kind of broken through, managed to do something. He's not a name that I would particularly say changes it. He's a nice second rotation option to have on the right wing, really. Waleji, the first name you missed there, he cannot be missed. He is outstanding. He played on the left side of a back three in Norway, but his seamless ability with the ball is something that I've not seen in many centre-backs in the entirety of world football. He's dummied his way through the whole Inter Miami team to their penalty area. He's so skillful on the ball. He's so athletic. He's pacey, but he's strong. He's very capable of running down the left-hand side or just driving straight down the middle. And that's actually what we're looking for in our left centre-back. We have two of those now. Thomas Williams has come in and done the same job. You haven't got him on the list, but he's a player who also signed from Orlando at the same time as Sheikh Mohammed. And we've looked for this profile at left centre-back that can run with the ball, can run forward from deep. How many centre-backs in world football can do that, honestly, to the ability that they can get to the other team's box? Not many. Reed Baker-Whiting, absolute game changer for us. Dan Lovitz is coming. He's 34, 35 at this point. Lacking in pace a little bit. Not the most technical player. And this is a team that has leveled up its technical ability to a significant degree. Baker-Whiting, of course, a player that was looked at by Manchester City, other teams around Europe as a very possible, versatile, classic like Manchester City. Could play in the DM, could play at fullback. They could have signed him, played him at fullback, then he becomes a central midfielder type player. He has just been on fire recently, getting goals in Leagues Cup. I think his second was chalked off. At least one goal in Leagues Cup, an assist as well. And then he got a goal in the big game that we had at the weekend.
The last game, the equalizer, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just quality, absolute quality on the ball. He can play in DM. He can play at right wing, left back, right back. He's as close to Andy Nahara as you're ever going to get in another choice. And that ball playing sort of inverted fullback option. And then the final one I mentioned is Shah. Elias Shah from Augsburg at the minute on loan. He's a piece of the puzzle that we were missing. And that's what I will say about this Nashville front office. Every time there's been a player that's we've needed a piece, they've gone, found a piece, and put him straight in the team. Shah is incredibly great on that left wing. He had Inter Miami on toast. He was doing overhead, flipping the ball over his head in the middle of the pitch. They had no idea what to do with him. 2 assists in the game against Inter Miami. Quality player on the ball, and a player that had terrible goal and assist record coming to MLS, but has already started his national career. I think he's had at least 3 assists, if not more, at this point. So a quality player on that left-hand side, and that gives us that front 4 now. We don't just have a 3, we've now got a 4, and he's basically like having a DP for us. And tracks back as well, which is a joy.
You got me like really, once again, jealous because you're finding pieces of the puzzle that we really haven't. I don't think we've had the capacity to fit into our squad, which just makes you guys even more stronger in retrospect. There were some subtractions. I mean, some of the big names here, I'm looking at Brugman, I'm looking at Perez, Schaffelberg, you mentioned, Walker Zimmerman.
Yep.
You guys are obviously, at the top of the list here, but do these any of these ultimately hurt in respect, even if it's more like, well, it would have been nice he's a fan favorite. It's hard to let go of him.
Yeah, Zimmerman.
Yeah.
He's been there from day one, but that's the only one really. Tyler Boyd, I was worried about that. He started off really well for LAFC when he went over there. But I think Brugman was the player that I wanted to keep actually, instead of Acosta. But we re-signed Acosta and didn't re-sign Brugman. I mean, I think with both of them, we were waiting for contracts to expire. And then it was going to case of, we're going to lowball you and offer, if you're going to take it, that's great, we'll have you. But if you're not, that's okay. You're only going to be a squad player.
Yeah.
And I can imagine Brugman didn't want to take that offer so much. But in terms of the others, no, I don't think that Schaffelberg is missed by a number of fans. I found him personally so frustrating because you never knew what you were going to get. And under Peter Callahan, just completely the wrong profile. Not technical enough, not silky on the ball, very much sort of a little bit out of control. And that kind of works sometimes if you're doing a counter-attacking thing and it's just about explosive power and pace and what's going to happen. This team is so controlled and it's so methodical in the way that the patterns of play work and everything that I think he struggled. He just really struggled. It's the technical level ultimately. But yeah, I mean, we've taken a big step forward, and so it's hard to miss. Walker from an emotional perspective for a lot of fans is a big miss. But once you watch Waleji on the ball, you think, okay, I don't miss him too much.
It's hard to admit that. I mean, there's some times where you're like, he was our best player in the back, but letting go of him and replacing him just makes him even better.
I mean, the DP slot system was, of course, makes those so much more difficult as well, because when you can find a centre back from Norway, which frees up your DP spot to go get Espinoza, a 23-year-old centre back from Norway who can dribble like some of the best wingers in the world. Maybe that's a bit hyped, but he's very good. He's incredibly good in MLS. You know, you always, it's compared to your opposition, isn't it? Whatever you're facing, I'm sure if you face PSG, he'd look a little bit worse. But at MLS level, he looks very, very good. It's tricky, you know, to then say, oh well, would I rather have had a centre back that we all have an emotional attachment to, who scored a couple of headers occasionally, but looked like he struggled occasionally and was aging out as well, heading towards those later 30s. Or do we want Christian Espinoza to come in and make us potentially win a title, potentially get us a supporters shield? Yeah, those are the decisions that a DP slot makes you make.
Boy, you're making us regret some of our choices in our back line here when you're talking about DPs. The podcast is also sponsored by Beyond Exercise. Beyond Exercise is a Cincinnati physical therapy and fitness business that helps people of all ages stay active and fit. They also work with local MLS and MLS Next Pro athletes. So see how they can elevate your health and fitness. Go to gobeyondexercise.com. Let's take a look really at how this lineup is going to look for Nashville, possibly. I mean, they've been using a few formations. I've got a 4-4-2 setup from the last game against Columbus, but you guys have also been playing with an attacking 4-3-3 at times, but typically it's the double six in the middle. Which would you suggest for an attacking side like FCC?
It's I've got to say, and I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, but I think the way that BJ Callahan plays, whatever position they start on the field, and especially in 2026, the way that teams are progressing the ball, it doesn't matter too much because these players move around quite so much as they do. We've played, you know, from different phases of play. You will see us play with a 3 at the back at times, 4 across the midfield. At other points in time, you'll see us play with a box in that midfield sitting, like you say, the 6s with the Waleji Palacios, probably Tagzeth and Yazbek, but it depends what we're doing and who we're facing. And then at other times we have played with that kind of 4-5-1 look about us when we're sat in deep, but then that changes very quickly. Well, in fact, sorry, the other way around. We'll sit as a 4-4-2, but then Hani, we play this little triangle thing, right? So Sam Surridge starts out on the left-hand side, Hani's up the middle, Espinoza's on the right-hand side, say, and then Wheel comes into the sort of attacking role, or sort of like fills that other space in midfield in like a kind of 4-5-1. And then as it all sort of shifts around, Sam moves up top, Hani drops in here in the sort of what would have been a false 9 into the attacking midfield role. Wheel pushes up on the left, Espinoza's on the right. They're so versatile. Everyone's just all over the place, to be honest with you. And then when we play with the box, Andy Nahara and Reed Baker-Whiting come in and play in that sort of inverted 10 role, that sort of Tottenham Udogi thing that they were doing under Ange Postecoglou. So this team is coached and drilled in so many different ways. My personal favorite moment is when we get into the 3 at the back, but that often means that Josh Bauer will be playing it right back. And we play with sort of 3 centre backs in that moment of play. And we just look so good because we've got so many little triangles all around the pitch. I do quite a few of these breakdowns on my YouTube channel, and there's a few times I've mentioned where we end up breaking into this lovely shape on the field where we've got 2 up top, 3 at the back, 4 across the midfield, and we're just having this lovely sort of triangle. Everywhere you look on the field, there's a triangle to just pop it around. But recently, we've been playing more of this kind of 4-4-2 for most of the game. Against you guys, I don't know if that's going to be the option. I think it could, because it gives us more of that. You know, the overlap is always the classic thing against your back 5, and is the option to overlap down those wings. And so if we've got that kind of Nahar, Espinoza, that left-hand side doesn't work on this picture, by the way. So I really hope we do not see that. And then we see Reed Baker-Whiting and Elias Shah. Shah for 2 reasons, because I think he tracks back incredibly well, and he's really determined to do so. And obviously your wing-backs are going to be pushing on, but that also then gives us the option of pushing Reed inside if we need, helping out and being that other defender, when you guys obviously have 2 up top quite often, with Evander in that space behind. So I would like to see not Wheel and Lovitz, because in my player ratings last week, and people know on my TikTok, were very upset about me getting very upset about this left side that just doesn't work. So yeah, I'd like to see that changed. Corcoran's been great in there, but I don't know if he's got enough space this week with your guys in there. And of course, wing backs being able to sort of make that space a little bit more compact as well. So we might see someone else in there, like a Tagseth, perhaps someone a little bit more press resistant.
Well, I mean, you guys got depth, so I think really, whether it's Tagseth, whether it's Coquelin there in the middle, I think you're going to give our midfield a little bit of a challenge, especially if Pat Noonan decides to go with Buka once again on the edge.
Mm.
I feel Buka tends to be at his best when he's in the middle with either an Obi Nwobodo or even if a Samuel GD comes in and plays sort of like the 6-8 role. So I'm kind of like hesitant to really ask you how much you're going to beat us by, but
I don't know. The only thing I will say is that our centre backs have not faced two up top very often.
Mm-hmm.
And that is always a little trickier thing to adapt to, because we do such a good job of both playing incredibly aggressively. So we play very aggressive centre backs, but against your guys up top, I'm not sure that's going to work 100% or as well as it might do most weeks. Because we really work to get in front of the striker. So Palacios and Waleji will make a point of stepping in front of them to win the ball. Very aggressive for most centre backs. That's why I say we could end up seeing slightly more of this sort of like three at the back at times, just because we're facing two strikers, and you want to have that extra man out there to be able to take care of that. But I think it's going to be an interesting game. I'm thinking us reverting to more of the tactics we used earlier in the season is going to work out better for us. Yazbek will progress down the channels a lot more and is happy to get almost to the byline. And I think that overload in there between Espinoza, Yazbek, and Andy Nahar on that right-hand side in particular will be sort of a problem area. And then Mukhtar can drop into that 10, can push on as well. And then you've sort of got three guys and a wing back dealing with four of our guys on that right-hand side. So yeah, it could be very interesting. I don't love the idea of that box of Corcoran, Yazbek, Waleji, and Palacios just facing your midfield and two strikers. I feel like they're going to need a little bit more help in there. So yeah, that'll be an interesting battle for sure. And I think Nahar is starting to play a lot better. Yeah, I think that overlapping thing is going to be an interesting element as well. I think
I'm interested to see really the dynamic of Espinoza and Nahar on our left-hand side. It tends to be the weaker portion. Yeah. If they're using Ender Echenike, who's just there for speed and offense.
Yep.
Brian Ramirez tends to be better in the defensive end.
Yep.
And then it's also it's hard to really determine who the left center back is going to be. Sometimes it is Samuel GD for his ability to advance the ball up. Sometimes it's Kyle Smith, who is strictly there for clog up the lanes in 60 minutes and be that defensive back there. And sometimes there'll be an Andre Chirilla who's young but knows how to really bring the ball up towards the spots that Evander likes the best. So I'm a little hesitant to really say who Pat would play there in that spot.
Yeah, I've seen both play there for you guys. And I think GD's ball playing potentially, because we do press quite high as well. We counter press quite high. That might be something that might help you out. But in terms of just clogging up the lanes, that might also be something that's kind of... It depends on how we play. If we play with this box, Yazbek, we kind of lose Yazbek's benefits when we play in this box, because Yazbek would love to carry on forward, and he joins up this right-hand side so nicely. But we're choosing to, at the minute, the last couple of games, put Reed, Baker, Whiting, and Nahar into that sort of spot in front and allow them to do that job. If we choose not to do that, I think I would want to clog up the lanes if I were you, just because it gets a little bit... I mean, we've had sort of 4 goals in the first half on that right-hand side, all from the right. But I think MLS is working out that our right-hand side is stronger than our left. But now we've got Shah. Let's see.
That's a good point. I think obviously the strongest portion, if you compare it to other sections of MLS, it's your goalkeeping. Joe Willis was, for the longest time, really, I mean, he was unheralded as a good goalkeeper.
Yep.
But Brian Schwake I know he came in and sort of played a few games for you guys last season, but give us the argument that he is your next U.S. men's national team goalkeeper.
Okay, it's not just that he lives literally on my corridor in this apartment. The other reasons are that I mean, the free goal that you guys experienced this World Cup, not going to happen with Brian Schwake in goal. Fundamentally incredible with the ball at his feet. He's already done his journeyman work. He's been out to Spain. He's been out to Scotland. He's played across Europe. He speaks fluent Spanish at this point, which is pretty incredible for the amount of time he spent there. he's just really worked his way up in terms of his ball playing. Like I say, is phenomenal. His distribution is pretty much unmatched, I would say, in MLS in terms of being able to be press resistant, be able to make balls that really improve the play and make something happen. I don't see many goalkeepers that can do that in this league. In terms of his shot stopping, absolutely phenomenal. Reaction saves are great. His penalty record's great. He saved 3 already this season.
Yeah.
He's a big player. He's the most humble guy, and he's kind of a bit shy as well. He's just like the opposite of what you'd expect, but he always delivers what you need. He's, goalkeepers are always a little bit weird. I was goalkeeper as well, but they're always a little bit weird. And he is a little bit weird, but in a very different way. And the way that he is in this team, he's sort of this really solid, reliable linchpin that doesn't really know how good he is himself, is what I'd say. The thing I will say is his dealing with crosses hasn't always been impeccable. I've also had interactions with his goalkeeping mindset coach before, online, and his instinct is always to punch because the data says that punching is probably safe. Almost as long as you do a good punch, you're going to be fine. But there are times when he's now starting to integrate catching the ball a little bit more, controlling the play, not always defaulting to the punch. And we've had good moments. His choice to do that the other week was what led to the 4th goal against Inter Miami. And that distribution to just take it in his hands, 3 or 4 steps, launch it to Hani Mukhtar over Rios Novo. Hey, he's got an assist this year. How many goalkeepers have got that?
That's true. We have a goalkeeper that has an assist, but they call it a hockey assist. Unfortunately, it doesn't count. Sorry, Evan Lauro. Let's really look at how we feel this game is going to shake out. I mean, it's going to be difficult to drag points out of a very strong home squad like Nashville. So maybe, what needs to happen for FCC to take away a draw, let alone a win?
I feel like as much as Columbus grew and now at the bottom of the league, I was quite frustrated after last week because I felt like they did a very good job of frustrating Nashville. Our left hand, they pushed up and doubled up on Andy Nahar, which is something that you can't really do with your shape. And that was something that worked incredibly well for Columbus to start that game. Is they actually just brought Taha Habrun, who's got that kind of free role. He came over to that left-hand side for them and doubled up on Andy Nahar and made that sort of play out from the back impossible for us pretty much. And he was very frustrated by that. And that was quite visible because we do use our fullbacks to progress the ball quite significantly at the minute. I think your guys up top can definitely cause us some problems. Like I say, our centre-backs haven't really faced 2 up top very often. And I think obviously you have a nice transition at times as well, which can be dangerous. I've got to say, I've not seen anyone really manage to do that to us this year, though. And I don't know if that's that our counter press has been quite so good and that we do designate sort of a good separation of who's staying back and who's making sure they break up the counter-attack kind of opportunities. You don't see many people lose the ball in this team and then get turned around very fast.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've not lost at home this year. I don't even think we've lost at home in Champions Cup. Did we lose Monterrey? Maybe Monterrey we lost 1. But we've read no, not Tigres, sorry. Same city. We've played both this year. All good. We've not lost at home this year. I thought we were going to do it last week. I thought we were going to lose our record at home. And then we came back and managed to get a win. So it's tricky. We'd have to have a really bad day. Ultimately, I think it's on us to lose this. More, and you guys are good. I'm not saying you guys are bad. Evander's, of course, a player on anyone's day that, just outstanding. Denke's a great player. I just do think that we'd have to have a complete capitulation because this team's just been so good at home.
Yeah, it's going to require, I think, a lot of work from us. We're going to have to punch. I make the joke we're going to have to work 9 to 5 on Saturday. Maybe Dolly's looking. Maybe Dolly's looking down at us both this weekend. So I'm going to predict I'm not going to predict a win per se for FCC. I think it's leaning closer towards points lost than points won. Are you comfortable predicting anything in this game?
Yeah, do you know what? I came away from last weekend so frustrated. My player ratings and my reaction after the game were not very friendly because I watched this team look like they had no clue how to break down a low block. Now you could do that and come in, and that's good. That would be tricky for us because hopefully we've been working on that this week because we are very good at that, turning things around like that. I think if we come out and play how I expect us to, we overload those wings and we choose to play how we played at the start of the season a little bit more. I could see this being a 3-1.
I mean, I wouldn't say no to that. I think right now, as healthy as FCC are, I think right now they have to get to basics. And if getting to basics means that you have to give up a few goals, uh, fine. I mean, their defense is playing better. Maybe both teams sort of like frustrate each other this week, and
Yeah.
you're starting to see a 2-1, a 1-1 result coming out of Nashville, which might be surprising for both of our offenses, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean that would be I this team it's tricky. I also, as much as I was frustrated last week, came away thinking the next day and maybe a couple of days after, it's kind of the hallmark of great teams that they manage to play badly or not do well for 90 minutes and then still get a win.
Yeah.
And I went from being frustrated that we left it so late to then thinking maybe that's just the mark of a team that is ready to kind of do this, you know. But I don't think we can. I don't think we're going to just breeze everything and just win every game always.
Mhm.
But our GDS Park support is incredible. We do an incredible job, you know, as those of us who are season ticket holders that are there every game, like I am. We do an incredible job of making that atmosphere pretty hostile. And since the Miami game, I felt that hostility for sure has carried on, and there's this kind of fervor to really get this over the line, whether that's just supporters shield or more. But I don't think we can win every game. If there was a 2-2 draw or something in here, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, hopefully, we put up a fight there. I'll be down there this weekend. I'll definitely be seeing
Amazing.
it from not from the opposition's section, but I'll be smuggled somewhere. I think in the regular seats. I want to thank you for your time here. Your observations have been key. I definitely hope that we see a very close and entertaining match and not a blowout like you guys did to Miami. So here, I'm going to give you the floor. The floor is all yours here. Let us know where we can find you and what you're up to.
Yeah, I mean, at BigTV NSC over on YouTube right now would be great. We're really trying to build that up, but also over on TikTok and Instagram, they're all available. And like I say, Monday nights Eastern Conference Roundup show I do with a bunch of other creators from the Eastern Conference kind of space, other MLS fans. And generally, it's a lot of MLS and Nashville stuff on TikTok and Instagram as well. Just keep you constantly in the loop with what's going on in Nashville.
All right. Well, give them a listen on Monday nights, but not when you're listening to us. I mean, we have
Yeah, you can go
our
afterwards. Afterwards is fine. You can
they're
use it
all
any time of the week, any
they're,
time before your next game is fine.
they're all recorded. They're all recorded.
Exactly.
If you want to check us out as well, definitely support us. We can definitely use all support you guys have for us. CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/support. Become a Patreon if you can. Definitely check us out on all of our social media outlets as well. We're on X, we're on Blue Sky, we're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We do a lot of, maybe we'll start getting into TikTok. I kind of have that itch lately.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can put that in place.
Come over.
And by all means, listen to our live show on Monday. Listen to our recorded jersey swap like you're listening to right now. Imagine that. So yeah, thanks for joining us, Tyler. Check them out on Big TV and listen to us every week. On behalf of myself, on behalf of Tyler and everybody out there in this big, beautiful world, keep your kick clean. Thank you very much for joining us this week.